Blood on the white marble of the kitchen floor mingled with the shards of a shattered plate, and my own son stood over me, his hand raised. In that moment, I realized I had lost not just my family. I had lost my illusions. My name is Elizabeth Carter, and until that cursed evening, I considered myself a happy woman. At 62, I owned an 800-acre ranch in Texas, inherited from my late husband, Richard, and a fortune of $12 million. But most importantly, I had my son, Nathan, 38 years old, whom I adored and cherished with all my heart. Everything changed when he brought Sophia home. Sophia Reynolds came into our lives like a spring rain after a long drought. Beautiful, charming, with a cascade of dark hair and eyes the color of sea glass. Nathan fell for her at first sight at some charity event in Dallas. I thought at last my son had found happiness. How wrong I was. The first warning signs appeared even before the wedding. Sophia talked about money constantly, not overtly, but too often. She asked about the size of the ranch, our investments, our plans for the inheritance. When I cautiously brought it up with Nathan, he exploded. "Mom, you're jealous!" he snapped. "Sophia's not some gold digger. She works at a marketing firm and makes good money." "Nathan, I just want you to be happy," I tried to explain. "But it feels like she's too focused on our finances." "She's interested in my life," he shot back, "unlike some people who've spent their whole lives criticizing my choices." That was unfair, and it stung. I had always supported Nathan. When he dropped out of law school to pursue art, when his paintings didn't sell, when he drifted between jobs searching for himself, I never reproached him, always believed in his talent. But now Sophia stood between us, and my son looked at me like I was the enemy. They got married at our home, a lavish ceremony on the lawn under the shade of ancient oaks. Sophia was radiant in a Vera Wang gown, and Nathan glowed with joy. I forced myself to smile, to embrace my new daughter-in-law, to say the right words. But inside, a knot of dread tightened. For the first few months, the newlyweds lived in their city apartment, but then Sophia suggested moving to the ranch. "Why waste money on rent?" she said, patting her stomach, "especially now with a baby on the way." Pregnancy. Nathan beamed with pride, and I was thrilled at the thought of becoming a grandmother, but unease gnawed at me. Sophia was already acting like the lady of the house, rearranging furniture, changing the staff schedule, criticizing my habits. "Elizabeth," she said one morning over breakfast, "don't you think the roses in the living room are past their prime? They're ruining the whole aesthetic." Those roses were delivered weekly in memory of Richard, a tradition I'd kept for 15 years since his death. "Sophia, those flowers mean something to me," I said quietly. "Oh, of course," she replied with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I just thought it might be time to move on. Richard's not coming back." Nathan didn't even look up from his newspaper. A chill spread through my chest. Things got worse with each passing day. Sophia critiqued my clothes, my routines, my management of the ranch. She accidentally broke several family heirlooms, forgot to pass on important messages, intercepted my mail. When I tried to talk to Nathan, he defended her. "Mom, Sophia's pregnant. Her hormones are all over the place. You need to be more patient." But I saw her smile when she thought I wasn't looking, a predator's smile cornering its prey. The breaking point came in October when Sophia miscarried at 5 months. It was a tragedy, and my heart broke. For the unborn grandchild, for my son, for Sophia herself. I tried to support them, but Sophia seemed to blame me for her loss. If this house had less stress, she snapped one day, maybe the baby would have survived. "Sophia," I began, But she cut me off. "You never accepted me," she shouted. "You've always criticized me, undermined me. Nathan, tell her." And Nathan, my only child, looked at me with cold eyes. "Mom, maybe you should think about giving us some space. Get an apartment in the city or something." The ground seemed to slip from under me. He was asking me to leave my own home, the home I'd shared with his father for 30 years. "Nathan, this is my home," I said softly. "Your father's home. But I have a family now, and I need to think about my wife, not the past." Sophia watched me with barely concealed triumph. In that moment, I realized it had all been planned. The miscarriage had become her weapon in a battle for control of the house. For weeks, we lived in tense silence. I kept my distance, spending time in the garden with the horses in my study. But Sophia wasn't done with me. It all came to a head that cursed Thursday in November. I walked into the kitchen to make coffee and found Sophia rummaging through the drawer of my desk, the one in the corner where I kept important documents. "Sophia, what are you doing?" I asked. She flinched but quickly recovered. "Looking for batteries. Nathan said they were in here." "In my document drawer." I stepped closer and saw a copy of my will on the table. "Those are my private papers." "Oh yeah," she said with a careless wave. "I accidentally pulled them out. Sorry." But I saw the papers were neatly arranged, studied. Sophia had been reading my will. "Get out of the kitchen," I said quietly but firmly, "and don't ever touch my things again." Her face twisted. "How dare you speak to me like that? I'm your son's wife." "That doesn't give you the right to go through my documents." "What are you hiding?" Sophia stepped toward me. "Afraid I'll find out you plan to leave us with nothing." I stayed silent, but my expression betrayed me. "Oh, I see." Her voice turned shrill. "You're going to cut your own son out of the inheritance after everything he's done for you." "It's my decision and my money," I said, struggling to stay calm. "Your money?" Sophia laughed hysterically. "That money was Richard's, and it rightfully belongs to his son. But you selfish old hag, want to take it all to your grave." "Watch your mouth," I warned. "Or what, you'll call the police?" She stepped closer, her eyes blazing. "You're nothing, Elizabeth, nothing. Your son chose me, understand? Me, and soon this house will have new owners." And then she pushed me. I wasn't expecting physical aggression and lost my balance. I fell, my shoulders slamming into the edge of the kitchen island, my face hitting the tile floor. Pain shot through me like lightning. "Oops," Sophia said indifferently. "Be careful, Elizabeth. Bones get brittle at your age." I lay on the floor, blood trickling down my face, my shoulder throbbing. Sophia stood over me, not a trace of remorse in her eyes. "Mom!" Nathan burst into the kitchen. "What happened?" "Your mother fell," Sophia said, helping me up with the air of a concerned daughter-in-law. "I tried to catch her, but I wasn't fast enough." Nathan helped me to a chair. My shoulder was agony, and I suspected it was dislocated. "Mom, we need to get you to the hospital," he said, worried. "Of course," Sophia agreed. "I'll come with you." At the hospital, they confirmed my shoulder was dislocated, and the cut on my face needed stitches. The doctor asked how I got the injuries, and I lied, saying I fell. Sophia sat next to Nathan, playing the role of a caring relative, but I saw her sly smile. Back home, Nathan helped me settle into bed, brought painkillers and hot tea. "Mom, I'm so sorry," he said. "Sophia feels awful that she couldn't catch you." I looked at my son, his honest brown eyes inherited from his father, his familiar features. He truly believed I'd just fallen. "Nathan," I started carefully, "we need to talk about Sophia." His face hardened. "Mom, don't start. You're hurt. You're not thinking straight." "I'm perfectly lucid. Sophia pushed me. What? He stared at me. Mom, that's insane. Sophia would never do that. Son, I know what I saw and felt. She was going through my papers, and when I called her out, she pushed me. You're accusing my wife of assault? His voice turned icy. Are you serious? Nathan, please, just listen. No, Mom, you listen. He stood and paced the room. Sophia loves me. She's trying to build a relationship with you, and what do? Accuse her of violence? Son, I'm done, Mom, he exploded. I'm tired of hearing your complaints about my wife. Tired of feeling guilty for being happy. If you don't like Sophia, that's your problem. He stormed out, slamming the door. I was left alone with my pain, physical and emotional. The next day, Sophia was ostentatiously caring. She brought breakfast to my bed, asked about my health, even offered to help me shower, but her eyes held cold triumph. Feeling better, Elizabeth? She asked in a saccharine tone. Yes, thank you. Good. She sat on the edge of the bed. You know, I was thinking about our talk yesterday, about the will. I tensed. Sophia, that's none of your business. Oh, but it is my business, she smiled. Very much so. See, Nathan's my husband. If you cut him out of the inheritance, I suffer too, and I won't let that happen. What are you saying? I'm saying you'll rewrite the will, leave everything to Nathan, or else what? Or else yesterday's accident might happen again. Next time you could fall down the stairs or slip in the bathroom. Accidents happen all the time, especially to old people. My blood ran cold. Sophia was threatening me. You wouldn't dare, I whispered. Try me, she said, standing and heading for the door. Oh, and Elizabeth? If you tell Nathan about this, I'll say you're delusional from the painkillers. Who's going to believe a crazy old woman? After she left, I lay staring at the ceiling. My own family had become a danger to me. In the house where I'd spent the best years of my life, I no longer felt safe, but I wasn't going to give up. The next day, I called my lawyer, William Davis. Bill was an old family friend who'd helped Richard and me with the will and other legal matters. Elizabeth, how are you? Nathan said you fell. Bill, I need to see you urgently. Can you come to the ranch? Of course. What's wrong? I'll explain when you get here. Bill arrived the next day, a man in his 70s with gray hair and wise eyes behind gold-rimmed glasses. We sat in my study and I told him everything. Sophia's behavior, how she pushed me, her threats. Elizabeth, those are serious accusations, Bill said, frowning. Are you sure? Absolutely. Bill, I want to change the will. I see. He opened his briefcase. What exactly do you want to change? I want to remove Nathan as an heir. Bill raised his eyebrows. That's a drastic decision. Are you sure? Not yet, but I want to prepare that version of the will, just in case. And I want to create a foundation for women who've survived domestic violence and for veterans, in memory of my mother. My mother, Rose McNeely, spent her life helping those in need. After the war, she worked with veterans, and in her later years, with women who'd suffered abuse. She always said everyone deserved safety and dignity. Good idea, Bill nodded. How much do you want to put into the foundation? $10 million. I'll sell the ranch and put the proceeds there too. And what about Nathan? $2 million, enough to start a new life. Bill jotted notes, then looked up. What if Nathan comes around? What if he divorces Sophia? Then I'll reconsider. But as long as he's with her, he gets nothing. We worked out the details for hours. Bill promised to have the papers ready within a week. And Elizabeth, he said as he left, be careful. If your suspicions about Sophia are true, she could be dangerous. After Bill left, I felt a strange relief. For the first time in months, I had a plan. I was in control. But Sophia wasn't going to wait. On Friday evening, she came into my study while I was reading. Elizabeth, we're having dinner tomorrow. Nathan's making his signature roast. I didn't respond, keeping my eyes on the book. It'd be nice if we could all make peace, she continued, like a real family. I looked at her. Sophia's smile was predatory. What are you planning? I asked bluntly. I don't know what you mean. We both know exactly what I mean. Sophia sat in the chair across from me. Elizabeth, I'm trying to build a bridge between us for Nathan. He's hurting because of our tension. Nathan's hurting because he married a woman who threatens his mother. I never threatened you. Really? I closed the book. What about your talk of accidents? Sophia faltered for a moment but quickly recovered. You're delusional. The painkillers are messing with your memory. My memory is fine. I remember every word you said. You can't prove anything. Her voice grew colder. But I can prove you're mentally unstable. Falls, delusions, paranoid ideas that your family wants to harm you. Classic signs of dementia. A chill ran down my spine. Sophia was smarter than I'd thought. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would. She stood. Tomorrow's dinner, Elizabeth. You'll smile, eat the roast, and announce you're leaving everything to Nathan. Got it? I didn't answer. Got it? She repeated, raising her voice. Go to hell, I said quietly. Sophia's face contorted with rage. For a moment, I thought she'd hit me again, but instead she smiled coldly. Oh, Elizabeth, you'll regret those words. Saturday, I spent the day in a fog, dreading what would happen at dinner. By 6, the house smelled of roasted beef and rosemary. Nathan was cooking in the kitchen, humming to himself. He seemed happy. I wore my best black dress, the one I'd bought for my last anniversary with Richard. If something bad was coming, I wanted to face it with dignity. Mom, you look stunning, Nathan exclaimed when I came down to the dining room. Right, Sophia. Sophia smiled. Of course, Elizabeth is always elegant. We sat at the table. Nathan poured wine, told jokes, tried to lighten the mood. For a while, we almost seemed like a normal family, but I felt the tension radiating from Sophia. She was waiting for her moment. Mom, Nathan said, passing me a plate of roast, Sophia told me you two talked yesterday. It's great that you're finally getting along. I glanced at Sophia. She nodded with an innocent expression. Yes, we had a very productive conversation. Really? Nathan brightened. Tell me about it. Oh, nothing special, Sophia said with a graceful shrug. Just girl talk, right, Elizabeth? I stayed silent, cutting my meat. Mom? Nathan looked at me. Yes, I said finally. We talked. Sophia smiled smugly. Nathan started talking about his new painting, but I wasn't listening. My attention was on Sophia, her hands, the way she held her utensils. The blow came out of nowhere. Nathan, Sophia said, remember how your mom was talking about the will yesterday? Nathan choked on his wine. What? Well, she told me about her plans. Sophia turned to me with a venomous smile. Tell your son, Elizabeth. My heart pounded. She'd cornered me. I don't know what you're talking about, I said. Oh, don't be modest. Sophia laughed. You said you wanted to leave all the money and the ranch to me and Nathan, that we deserve to be your heirs. I never said that. Mom. Nathan frowned. What's going on? She forgot, Sophia said with a pitying shake of her head. You know, Nathan, your mom's been forgetting things a lot lately. Yesterday she told me she wanted to start a foundation but leave most of the money to us. Today she doesn't remember. Sophia, stop, I warned. Stop what? Telling the truth? She turned to Nathan. Your mother's sick, Nathan. She needs help. Mom. Nathan looked at me, concerned. Do you really not remember talking to Sophia? I remember every conversation perfectly, I said clearly. And I remember how your wife pushed me on Thursday. There it is, Sophia exclaimed. Those crazy accusations again. Nathan, she thinks I attacked her. Sophia would never... She threatened me, I interrupted. Said if I didn't leave her the money, another accident might happen. Nathan stared at me, then at his wife. Mom, are you serious? dead serious. "Sophia." Nathan turned to her. "Is this true?" Sophia feigned shock. "Nathan, how can you even ask that? Of course it's not true. Your mother's sick. She's imagining—" "I'm not imagining anything." I stood from the table. "Your wife is a liar, and then Sophia grabbed a bowl of soup and dumped it on my head. Hot tomato soup burned my skin, drenched my hair, stained my dress. I froze in shock as Sophia stood and screamed, "Enough! Enough of your accusations. I try to be a good daughter-in-law, and you're just a bitter old woman who can't handle that her son chose me over you." "Sophia!" Nathan shouted. "No, Nathan!" Sophia sobbed. "I can't take it anymore. She's hated me from day one, accuses me of everything, says I threaten her, that I'm a liar. I tried to make things work, but she—" And then the worst happened. Nathan stood, walked over to me, and slapped me. The sharp crack echoed through the dining room. My cheek stung and I tasted blood in my mouth. My own son had struck me. The physical pain was nothing compared to the agony tearing through my heart, my soul, every memory of the little boy I'd rocked in my arms, fed, taught to live. Nathan stood before me, his hand trembling, his eyes filled with a mix of rage and shock at what he'd done. Sophia froze, her lips curling into a faint smile. She'd won. Soup dripped down my face, mixing with the tears I couldn't hold back. "Nathan," I whispered, clutching my cheek. "How could you?" He blinked, as if waking from a nightmare, and stepped back. "Mom, I didn't mean to. You're accusing Sophia of horrible things. She's my wife." Sophia moved to him, wrapping her arms around his waist, pressing her cheek to his shoulder. "Nathan, darling, don't blame yourself. Your mother, she's not herself. We need to get her help. Maybe call a doctor." I stood there as my world crumbled. Blood on the white marble of the kitchen. No, this was the dining room, but the scene felt like the start of my story. Only now the shards weren't from a plate, but from my life. I wiped my face with a napkin, trying to hold on to my dignity. "I'm leaving," I said quietly. "I won't stay in this house another minute." "Mom, wait!" Nathan stepped toward me, but Sophia held him back. "Let her go, Nathan. She needs to cool off. Maybe she can stay in the guest house." I didn't respond. I turned and climbed the stairs to my room. Every step was heavy. My shoulder still ached from the dislocation. My cheek burned, and my heart was shattered. In my bedroom, I packed a bag, documents, some clothes, car keys. I knew I wouldn't be back, not for a long time. Downstairs, I heard their voices from the dining room. Nathan spoke softly, soothingly, while Sophia answered with a tremble, playing the victim. I didn't say goodbye. I slipped out the back door, got into my old pickup, and drove away from the ranch under the cover of night. The night was cold, typical for a Texas November. Stars glittered above the endless fields as I drove to Dallas, to the one person I could trust, Bill Davis. He lived in a modest house on the city's outskirts, and when I knocked on his door at midnight, he answered in a bathrobe, hair disheveled. "Elizabeth, what's wrong?" I stepped inside, and the words poured out. I told him about the dinner, the slap, the soup, how my son had raised his hand against me. Bill listened silently, pouring me tea, then hugged me like the old friend he was. "We'll fix this," he said. "Tomorrow, we'll finalize the new will, and you need to think about protection. Maybe go to the police." "No." I shook my head. "Nathan won't believe me, and without proof, Sophia's right. They'll think I'm a crazy old woman." "Then let's get proof. Install cameras in the house if you go back, or hire a detective." I stayed at Bill's that night, and in the morning we went to his office. Behind closed doors, we finalized the will. I left Nathan $2 million in a trust fund, accessible only after he divorced Sophia or her death. The ranch and remaining assets went to the Rose McNeely Foundation for Victims of Abuse and Veterans. Bill also suggested I rent an apartment in Dallas for the time being. "Elizabeth, You can't hide forever. The ranch is your home." "It's not my home anymore," I replied. "Sophia rules it now." I rented a small apartment in downtown Dallas, cozy with a view of a park. The first days were rough. I woke from nightmares of Nathan raising his hand, Sophia laughing. I called my son, but he didn't answer. Sophia had probably convinced him I was dangerous. A week later, Bill brought the finalized documents. I signed them, feeling both relief and sadness. "It's official now," he said. "But Elizabeth, think about reconciling. Nathan's your son." "He chose her," I replied, "and while he's with her, I can't take the risk." But fate had other plans. 2 weeks after I left, Nathan called. His voice was hoarse, like he hadn't slept in days. "Mom, where are you? We need to talk. I'm in Dallas. What's wrong? Just come home, please." I hesitated, but a mother's heart won out. I drove to the ranch, bringing a recorder, just in case. When I entered the house, silence greeted me. Nathan sat in the living room, alone, a bottle of whiskey in hand. He looked older, bags under his eyes, stubble on his cheeks. "Mom," he said, standing, "I'm so sorry for everything." I froze in the doorway. "Where's Sophia?" "With a friend. We fought." "About what?" He sighed, head bowed. "About you. She said you were right, that she's manipulating me. But I don't believe it. After that dinner, I feel so guilty. I hit you, Mom. My own mother." I stepped closer, sitting across from him. "Nathan, listen. Sophia isn't who she seems. She threatened me, pushed me. It's not in my head. But there's no proof. What if there was?" I turned on the recorder in my pocket but didn't mention it yet. "Let's talk to her together. Ask her directly." He nodded. "She'll be back tonight. Stay." I stayed. The evening dragged on. Nathan and I talked about the past, his father, his childhood on the ranch, how I'd always believed in him. He cried, hugged me, begged for forgiveness. I forgave him. How could a mother not forgive her son? But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Sophia returned around 9. Seeing me, she froze but quickly put on her carrying mask. "Elizabeth, so good to see you back. Nathan missed you so much." "Sophia," Nathan said, "sit. We need to talk." We sat in the living room. Nathan started. "Sophia, Mom says you pushed her and threatened her." Sophia laughed, nervously but convincingly. "Nathan, darling, you know that's not true. Your mother fell on her own, and threats, that's her imagination." "But why does she think that?" he pressed. Sophia sighed theatrically. "Because she's jealous. She wants you all to herself. I've tried to be good, but she sees me as the enemy." I stayed silent, letting her talk. The recorder captured every word. "And the will?" Nathan asked. "You mentioned it." "Of course I did. You're her son. You have a right to the inheritance. But I never threatened her." Nathan looked at me, then at her. "Sophia, did you go through her papers?" She rolled her eyes. "I was looking for batteries, like I said." But her voice held a false note, and Nathan heard it. "You're lying," he said quietly. "What, Nathan?" "I've seen how you look at Mom, how you smile when you think no one's watching. And after the miscarriage, you changed." Sophia jumped up. "You're believing her over me? Your wife?" "I believe facts. Mom, do you have proof?" I pulled out the recorder and played the clip from the bedroom, the one where Sophia threatened me about accidents. I'd recorded it secretly after her threat. Her voice came through clearly. "Or else yesterday's accident might happen again. Try me." Sophia's face went white. "That's fake. Nathan, it's edited." But Nathan had heard enough. He stood facing his wife. "Get out, Sophia. Out of my house. Out of our lives." "Nathan, no, I love you. You love money. Leave or I'll call the police." Sophia cried. Real tears, or so it seemed. She packed her things and left that night. Nathan hugged me and we cried together. "I'm sorry, Mom. I was blind." "The important thing is, You saw the truth. The next day, we went to the police. I filed a report for assault and played the recording. Sophia was arrested 2 days later trying to flee to Mexico, caught at the border. It turned out she wasn't who she claimed to be. Her real name was Emma Smith, with a criminal history of fraud and blackmail. She'd targeted wealthy men, and Nathan was her latest mark. The divorce was quick. Nathan returned to painting, opening a gallery in Dallas. I moved back to the ranch, and we lived together again, a real family free of the past's shadows. The Rose McNeely Foundation began its work. We helped hundreds of women who'd endured what I had, and veterans in need of support. I revised the will again. Everything to Nathan, on the condition that he continue the foundation's work. Years passed. Nathan met a new woman, a kind, genuine teacher named Anna. They married, and I gained grandchildren, twins, a boy and a girl. The ranch came alive with children's laughter, galloping horses, the scent of fresh grass. Sometimes I think of Sophia. She served her sentence and vanished, but she no longer has power over me. I won, and that's my story. A story of loss and recovery, betrayal and love, of how, even at 62, you can start again. Dear viewers, if you enjoyed the story, give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you won't miss new exciting stories. See you tomorrow.